Hello guys, in this tutorial, you are going to learn about variables in Python. A variable is created the moment you first assign a value to it. Let's understand it practically. Firstly, open up your PyCharm or any IDE that is installed on your computer. Then, right-click on your project and create a new Python file. Name this Python file whatever you want. I am naming it as variable. Notice that I've typed .py at the end of the file because it's the extension for the Python file. If you don't type .py at the end, don't worry, PyCharm automatically adds .py extension at the end. But as a beginner, don't forget to type .py at the end so you don't have to memorize what extension is used for Python files. Press enter. As you can see, a new Python file is created as variable.py in this project. Now, let's try to run a code so we can ensure that the program is working perfectly. Notice that we have typed the print keyword all in lowercase because Python is case sensitive. In simple words, we can say that Python cares about uppercase and lowercase letters. After the print keyword, type an open parenthesis or brackets, you can say. It will automatically add a closed parenthesis. Under the parenthesis, type double quotes. Then type, "Hello world." Before running our program, hover the cursor at the Python file that we have created earlier and press Ctrl+Shift+F10 on Windows computer. Then, it will automatically configured and ran. As you can see, "Hello world" is printed in the Python console. You can now run the program just by pressing Shift+F10. Our program is working correctly. I have told you earlier that Python is case sensitive. Let's type the P in uppercase or capital letter. Let's run our program by pressing Shift+F10. As you can see, we got a name error, so remember that Python is case sensitive. The correct one is in lowercase. And notice that our program executed with exit code 1. Exit code 1 means that our program has an error. So, now let's fix this error by typing the print keyword all in lowercase. As you can see, the exit code is now 0. That means our program has no error. Now, let's create a variable as name. After the variable, we type equals to sign or equals to operator, you can say. Variable is a name that is used to refer to memory location. Python variable is also known as an identifier and used to hold value. In simple words, a variable is created the moment you first assign a value to it. It is recommended to use lowercase letters for the variable name. Under the double quotes, I have typed my name. And then remember that if we want to print something, we use the print keyword in lowercase only. Notice that we are typing the name variable in double quotes. And it simply returns name. Type the name variable. Because we have assigned the name variable to my name, if we want to get access to it, we just type name variable. Let's run our program. As you can see, my name is printed. So, that's how you get access to a variable. So, now let's make a new variable as first name. Always type a text in the double quotes. Now let's make another variable as my mid name. Again, I am telling you that we use an underscore to separate multiple words. We type print to print something on the terminal. So, let's print my first name. My first name is printed. Now let's try to print our mid name. As you can see, mid name is also printed. What if we want to print both of them? I hope you have guessed it already, how we are going to do that. We just use a plus operator to add multiple variables. Both are now printed on the terminal. But notice that there is no space between my first name and the mid name. How do we do that? We have many methods to do that. Just add a space before the mid name, like this. Let's run our program. The problem is solved. Another way is that just add another plus operator, and in between the plus operators add double quotes, and add a space between the double quotes. If these methods are hard for you, you can do it with the comma operator, so our code is not so complicated. Now, let's try to add a new text or string. My last name. Let's print it. Again, we can do like this, add a space after the quote. As I told you earlier, Python is too easy to learn and use. You don't have to memorize anything from this tutorial. Just practice. We can also store any integer value to a variable. Let me give you an example. Let's make a variable as value. Note that you can name anything to a variable, but it should have a logic. And assign an integer value. The value as a number is called an integer. The number with a decimal is known as a float number in Python. And if we type anything in the double quotes, it is known as a string or text in Python. We can type anything under the double quotes, and it will be printed as a string or text. Like the 10.5 number is now a string value instead of a float value, because we've typed it in the double quotes. Python supports 3 types of numbers: integers, float, and complex numbers. For now, let's just focus on integers, float, and strings. Let's take an integer value, like number 12. Let's print the value. As you can see, number 12 is printed. Make a new variable as first num, and assign it any number you want. And make another variable as second num. I am assigning 12 to both the variable. What if we try to add it? Let's see what happens if we add them. It simply returns 24, because it is the sum of 12 and 12. Let's use the comma operator and see what happens. It returns 12 and 12, and a white space between them. Let's see what happens with strings. It also returns 12 and 12. Let's add these with plus operator. As you can see, 12 and 12 is printed, but there is no space between them. Now, let's add a float value. It also returns the sum of 3.8 and 2.5, which is 6.3. Let's try to subtract them with a minus operator. As you can see, we can do all type of arithmetic operations. If we want to multiply, type an asterisk instead of x. If you type x, it will show us an error. Let's solve the errors. As you can see, the errors are gone. 3.8 multiplied by 2.5 is 9.5. Division also. It returns 1.52. And floor division, we are going to look at the floor division later. You don't need to learn floor division for now. Let's try to use the comma operator. It simply separates both values. So, this is all for this tutorial, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and share this video to everyone. If you have any questions, leave a comment below. This video took me 6 hours to edit, so if you subscribe to this channel, I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching.